Congress veterans are at war with each other after the party's poor showing in the Bihar assembly polls. Rajasthan Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot has now slammed Kapil Sibal after he publicly questioned the Congress leadership. In a tweet, Gehlot said Sibal has hurt the sentiments of party workers by discussing internal issues of party in the media. Coming to the rescue of the top leadership, Gehlot claimed that there were various other reasons for the Bihar electoral loss. He asserted that Congress is the only party that can keep the nation united. Remember that Sibal, in an interview to a leading daily, came down heavily on the Congress leadership, saying that there was no word from the party on his abysmal performance in Bihar. He added that Congress knows what the problems were, but was unwilling to recognize or address them. So it's not just from within that the Congress is facing problems. Disappointing election results for the Grand Alliance in Bihar is likely to impact Congress the most. Remember that it contested on 70 seats, managed to win only 19. So now the question is, will this poor strike rate impact the Congress's alliance in poll-bound states like that of Tamil Nadu?
Another election, another dismal performance by the Congress. The National Party's decline is now a big concern for its teammates in the UPA, and they have reasons to be. In the Bihar elections, the Congress contested 70 seats and managed to win just 19. The party's strike rate was the poorest among all alliance partners. In the Maharashtra Assembly polls, the party contested 147 seats but won just 44. Whereas its ally NCP contested 121 seats but won more seats than the Congress. In 2016 Tamil Nadu elections, the Congress secured 41 seats from the DMK but ended up winning just 8 of them. One of the reasons the DMK lost out to Jayalalitha. Congress's next big test as an alliance partner will be in Tamil Nadu, where elections take place next year.
Definitely we need to change, we need to communicate, we need to reach out. Our mass contact must become much more prevalent, and we need to step out and start meeting people to rebuild the confidence of the party, to regain the confidence with the people.
Therefore, and mutual understanding with Talabadi Mukha Stalin and my leader Rahul Gandhi ji are extremely very good, and they share common ground on the vision for Tamil Nadu as well as vision for India. And ADMK and BJP is going to be beaten. Whatever their communal agenda they wanted to spread in Tamil Nadu is going to be defeated by a secular progressive alliance.
The DMK so far hasn't commented on the Congress performance in Bihar. The Dravidian party, hoping to win back the state after 10 years this time, will be cautious while giving out seats.
The problem for the DMK though is that this is a very, very crucial election. It's an election that they can't afford to lose. They have been out of power for 10 years. So they would be keen to ensure that every vote is added into their kitty. The Congress currently commands about 4 to 5% vote in Tamil Nadu, and the DMK will be calculating very carefully how much of damage could the Congress do if they were not part of the alliance, and then take a call on the minimum number of seats that can be shared with its alliance partner.
The Bihar results have opened up a Pandora's box for the Congress party. Allies are looking at the Congress with caution. Seat sharing being a major bone of contention in the upcoming assembly elections in various states. The big question is, having burnt its finger, the party learnt its lesson, or will it be a repeat of the Bihar flop show? With video journalist Sanjeev Kumar, this is Mosmi Singh in Delhi for India Today.
And ahead of next year's assembly polls, the DMK seems to be headed for a split. Sources say the DMK patriarch M. Karunanidhi's elder son, M.K. Alagiri, may float his own political party. He's likely to have a meeting with his close aides in Madurai on November 20th. Possible names doing the rounds for his party are Kalaignir DMK or KDMK. It's learned that Alagiri is likely to also meet with Home Minister Amit Shah when he visits Chennai on November 21st. Alagiri was removed from the DMK in 2014 for anti-party activities. He's been out of politics ever since. The move will also be a big challenge to the DMK, especially because Alagiri is a famous personality in southern Tamil Nadu, has a huge amount of influence in constituencies like Madurai. Let's move on to some other stories this morning. Days after Prime Minister Modi virtually unveiled the Vivekananda statue at the prestigious Jawaharlal Nehru University in Delhi, former Karnataka Minister and BJP National General Secretary C.T. Ravi has sparked a controversy. C.T. Ravi has demanded renaming JNU to SWAMI Vivekananda University. In a tweet, he said that Swami Vivekananda stood for the idea of Bharat, and his value as well as philosophies will inspire generations to come. This isn't the first time C.T. Ravi has stirred a hornet's nest. He'd earlier proclaimed that if majority loses patience over CAA, there will be a Godhra-like situation in the country. He also had said that anti-nationals should get bullets and not biryani. Shifting focus as the months-long standoff at the India-China border continues, Prime Minister Modi and Chinese President Xi Jinping will be face-to-face virtually for the 12th BRICS summit. Now, the summit is expected to begin at 4:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time. This summit is particularly crucial as it comes at a time when India and China are locked, of course, in that bitter border standoff in eastern Ladakh for 6 months. The key agenda will be to focus on cooperation in counter-terror, in trade, health, energy and also ways to offset the impact of the coronavirus pandemic. Apart from Prime Minister Modi, the summit will be attended by Chinese President Xi Jinping, by Brazilian President Bolsonaro and Russian President Vladimir Putin. And moving on, we also saw how, in fact, colleges across Karnataka will be reopening today after 7 months. Students will have to undergo the mandatory COVID-19 tests in order to attend college. Students, teachers and even non-teaching staff will have to undergo tests. They will be allowed to attend classes only if the result is negative, of course, and also if they do not have any symptoms of COVID-19. The Bengaluru Municipal Council has, in fact, set up 141 health centres near colleges for testing. Students can get themselves tested anywhere between 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Colleges are expecting low attendance initially. As the footfall increases, testing facilities will be expanded accordingly.
We are now at the St. Joseph's Autonomous College, and here you can see students undergoing the COVID-19 test. This is the RT-PCR test, which many of us have actually undergone in the past as well. So it's not just the students, but also the staff and management. Furthermore, we have also seen that all the colleges, not just over here, across the state will have to undergo sanitization. In fact, classrooms are being sanitized, the gates are being sanitized. This is compulsory. However, the biggest problem that one might see is this. The government has actually given the option for students. If they want to attend regular classes, they can do so, but with the consent of their parents. But what we are hearing from our sources is that many of them might want to consider continuing with online classes, keeping in mind the safety concerns. With video journalist Madhuwar, Nolan Pinto for India Today.
Delhi has been witnessing a huge surge in its coronavirus tally as there's no let-up in cases. Beds in the national capital too are rapidly dwindling. India Today went on ground to conduct a reality check on how prepared healthcare facilities are for the third wave of COVID-19 in Delhi.
It is Delhi's biggest battle. A massive spike in COVID cases and rapidly dwindling hospital beds. No city, not even in the United States, is seeing the growth in COVID cases that the national capital is seeing. Since November beginning, Delhi's COVID numbers are among the 10 worst globally. Delhi's current average daily new cases dwarf even cities like New York and Sao Paulo in Brazil. Seeing the dire situation on the ground, the centre has joined forces with the Delhi government. Paramilitary medical staff are being airlifted to the capital to counter shortage of doctors in Delhi. The Delhi government remains hopeful of containing the COVID crisis.
फर्स्ट वेव जून में आई थी, सेकेंड वेव सितंबर में आई थी और थर्ड वेव ये जो नवंबर में चल रही है, इसका पीक तो जा चुका है. आज मैं कह सकता हूं, डेफिनेटली आपसे कह सकता हूं कि डेफिनेटली वेव का जो पीक था, पीक इज गॉन. अब धीरे धीरे ये कम आएगी.
Of particular concern is availability of ventilators. Of the 1,342 ICU beds with ventilators, only 165 were available in the evening, according to the Delhi government's COVID beds dashboard. Private hospitals are the most in demand. Delhi's Sir Ganga Ram Hospital has no ICU beds available. Same is the situation at top private hospitals like Indraprastha Apollo and Max. Even the Loknayak Jayaprakash Narayan Hospital, the biggest COVID facility in Delhi, has 8 ventilators left, though beds are available.
During the meeting with the state and centre at MHA headed by the Union Home Minister Amit Shah, the centre has assured to provide ICU beds, 700 ICU beds fully equipped. Looking at the number which are in a surge in the capital for last few days, there will be more need of ICU beds. But at the moment, where the government says it has available of beds and wards around 7,900 in its own stock, private hospitals have wards, but there is lack of ICU.
The centre is now rushing to add 750 ICU beds to capital's existing capacity. Much of it will go to the 10,000-bed COVID centre built at Chhatarpur. With Ashutosh, Bureau Report, India Today.
And after over 7 months, religious places across Maharashtra reopened for the public. Devotees, however, had to obviously maintain certain precautions in order to prevent the spread of coronavirus. We get your ground report from Maharashtra.
After nearly 7 months, temples in Maharashtra reopened on Monday. The first time since the lockdown was imposed in March. Monday also happened to be the Hindu New Year, and devotees were happy to get darshan on the auspicious day. The state government has imposed strict checks like face masks and social distancing in view of coronavirus pandemic.
I am very happy. Today we got the darshan peacefully, and all rules, regulation, they are maintained here well.
We are feeling happy about it. So it is a miracle that it is happening over here, and it has been a great trip for us. All thanks to Sai Sansthan, and all thanks to Maharashtra government for the same.
बहुत अच्छे से अरेंजमेंट है अंदर, सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग का पूरा ध्यान रखा जा रहा है, सैनिटाइज पल पल पे किया जा रहा है, सब कुछ बहुत अच्छे से है.
The Siddhi Vinayak Temple Trust has asked devotees to book appointment on their official app and generate QR code. Similarly, Sai Baba Temple in Nasik is allowing 3,000 devotees through appointment and another 3,000 walk-ins. Senior citizens are advised to avoid visiting places of worship.
There is an enthusiasm with the devotees who are getting to visit this shrine after a long time. All necessary precautions like social distancing, masks, checking body temperatures are being taken because they want to be very cautious that these places should not become the hotbed of COVID-19.
The reopening of places of worship has been a point of contention, with the opposition and the governor targeting the Maharashtra Vikas Aghadi government over the issue.
जितने भी महाराष्ट्र के देवी के भक्त हैं, शिरडी के साई के भक्त हैं, सिद्धिविनायक के भक्त हैं, ये दिल से ये 3 दलों को श्राप देंगे. इन्होंने जानबूझ करके भक्तों को अपने भगवान के दर्शन से वंचित रखा.
Maharashtra is one of the worst affected states during this COVID-19 outbreak. Almost after 8 months, when the number of patients has reduced, all of the religious places throughout the state have been allowed to start worshipping. Now it all depends on the devotees. If they strictly follow the social distancing norms, then the chances of getting infected are reduced. With cameraman Nitin Mirane, this is Pankaj Khelkar in Shirdi for India Today.
Well, there's hopeful news this morning in the hunt for a coronavirus vaccine, as US pharmaceutical giant Moderna has stated that its vaccine has proved to be 94.5% effective, as shown by preliminary data from the company's still ongoing study of 30,000 volunteers. Moderna vaccine raises hopes as it has shown a very high efficacy rate and that it can be kept for 30 days without any harm. Moreover, it's easier to store than its closest counterpart, which is the Pfizer vaccine, as the Moderna vaccine can be stored at -20 degrees, while Pfizer can only be stored at -75 degrees. That was raised as a concern for India as well. Moderna's results come exactly a week after Pfizer announced that its vaccine proved to be 90% effective in the trials.
It's a really important milestone in the fight against the pandemic because it demonstrates that our vaccine, mRNA-1273, is able to prevent COVID-19 disease, including severe disease in people who've received it. It's really just a milestone, though. We have a lot of work ahead of us. Knowing the vaccine is going to be effective is great news, but we still need to complete the regulatory process, which involves completing the study and generating more data, even some follow-up and safety data. And then, of course, we need to get busy manufacturing.
Since the beginning of the pandemic, we knew that a vaccine would be essential for bringing the pandemic under control, which is why WHO proposed the ACT Accelerator. But it's important to emphasize that a vaccine will complement the other tools we have, not replace them. A vaccine on its own will not end the pandemic.
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kamal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.